big AI deals, UK live stuff, and Wu-Tang to the rescue. Welcome to the Unlimited Supply Podcast, your daily music business TLDR in your ear, powered by the combined karma of Wu-Tang Clan and 2 out of 3 Haim sisters, and brought to you by No Disc, helping music, technology, and finance companies navigate the music industry in partnership with Digital Music News. It's June 11th, 2026. I'm Lars Murray. It's Touring Thursday, but before we hit the road, very vanishingly seldom over the past 50 years have the New York Knicks been the biggest show at Madison Square Garden in the month of June. But even in a 2-week stretch, bringing Phoebe Bridgers' 5 Seconds of Summer and Rosalia to the Garden, the Knicks brought the biggest spectacle to the world's greatest arena this week. It appeared to be a lost cause. The magic had worn off. When the Knicks were down 27 at the half, only one group of superheroes could turn this whole thing around. No, not the assembled ghosts of Willis Reed and Dave DeBusschere teaming up with the still-living legends Clyde Frazier, Earl the Pearl Monroe, and Bill Bradley. No, only one New York team of legends could flip the karma. That would be the Wu-Tang Clan. Wu-Tang came on and played the halftime show at the Garden last night, and the vibe shift was on. The magic took another few minutes to kick in, but the greatest comeback in NBA Finals history was on. It hadn't been clear in the first half whether the other musical supergroups sitting in the third row, imported from Sixers and Laker country, that would be Taylor Swift from Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and Alanna and Este Haim from LA, it wasn't clear if they were bringing positive or negative karma until the very end, when the arrow pointed toward New York. Yes, music, only music could wash out the stain of Game 3. He may wear Nick Orange on his very skin, but he is indeed Florida man, and his miasma was cleansed by the power of Wu-Tang and these 3 cheerleaders in their Nick pun t-shirts. Seriously, it's a great time to be a New Yorker. This team has everyone in a good mood not seen since a certain day in November 2008. Folks of all sizes, shapes, creeds, and even political stances are notably cheerful on the streets, united in a common cause called Knicks in 5. And I say this as an unabashed bandwagoneer. Get on board, everybody, while you're here, and it seems like the entire industry is here this week. But we're not really here to talk about sports. We're here to talk about the music industry, and actually, it's been a pretty big week for that, too. A couple of big deals got announced yesterday in the AI world. First of all, starting close to home, congrats to Unlimited Supply axe grinder Benji Rogers, Aileen Crowley, and Tamay Aykut of Sureel AI. We've talked about Sureel quite a bit over the past year. It's a technology built to achieve accurate AI training data attribution. The Sureel crew has been vociferously arguing that attribution in AI data is not just possible, but essential. And yesterday morning, Warner Music Group announced that it had acquired Sureel, a nice little exit for Sureel investors, but more significantly, a show of intent that Warner Music Group is taking attribution for its artists and songwriters very seriously in the wake of its deals with Suno and Udio. At least for now, Warner is going to do the right thing and let Sureel operate independently. But more importantly, its embrace of the concept and technology behind the Sureel model put it out in front of its major label competition, and even, dare I say, establish a bit of a moral high ground for WMG. Depending on how you look at it, keeping Sureel operating independently either extends an invitation to the rest of the industry to jump on that bandwagon or forces them to come up with a competitive solution of their own. Sometimes everybody wins. There's a link to the press release courtesy of Benji Rogers in the show notes. But that wasn't the only big AI deal announced yesterday. The National Music Publishers Association had its annual meeting yesterday, and head honcho David Israelite announced that the NMPA had reached licensing deals with Udio and the upstart AI platform Klay. That's Klay with a K. We're still not sure what Klay does. Feel free to enlighten me. Nonetheless, it's another precedent-setting deal with the big dogs of the publishing industry coming to a deal with well-funded AI startups. It's important to keep in mind that the NMPA, like the RIAA, tends to favor the agendas of the majors, but when it comes to disruptive technology, some deal is usually better than no deal, and you have to start somewhere. Kristen Robinson had the coverage over at Billboard. Okay, let's hit the road along with the Knicks. A couple of stories over in the UK to pay attention to. Over the long haul, the performance detection platform Audoo has been dedicated to the proposition that detection of performance royalties in venues can and should be better. On Tuesday, Audoo and an organization called the Music Venue Trust announced a partnership to put Audoo technology into 120 venues in the UK. The company has been noisily asserting that its technology will result in better and cleaner performance rights tracking than the systems that Britain's Performing Rights Society PRS has in place, and these 120 venues will presumably provide the proof in the pudding. Audoo may or may not be the company that accomplishes this task, but the goal of moving performance rights attribution out of the hands of paper set lists and inherently dodgy logging should result not only in better reporting, but more reporting given how much can fall through the cracks in that sector. The only downside is that it could increase venue costs, which has backfired in the past when venues just sometimes eliminate music overall because it's too expensive. But I suspect that's going to be marginal. Ashley King has the details over at Digital Music News. What's not marginal is the continued collapse of festivals in the UK. Last year, the UK was down 140 festivals. This year, another 20 have closed up shop. Over at Polestar, Gideon Gottfried is reporting that despite the UK government suspending the value-added tax on certain festival ticket sales at a lot of festivals are still lagging. The most prominent one is Glasgow's WOMAD World of Music and Dance Festival, which was canceled this year. Gottfried doesn't attribute a single cause, but if the UK is anything like the US, the increasing cost of events at the top of the pyramid, the super popular ones, is sucking up a larger percentage of the overall live spend. So you don't see Glastonbury and Reading Fest hurting. It's the smaller localized ones that are having a hard time staying afloat. And while I don't usually talk about specific festivals in the UK, the US, or anywhere else, one that just crossed my path because it's both local and straight into my wheelhouse is bucking the trend of struggling smaller festivals. That would be the Dromfest, D-R-O-M Fest, which is happening in Catskill, New York in September. Maybe hyper-focused is the way to go. The entire lineup looks like a particularly good week in Cambridge, Massachusetts at the Middle East and TT the Bears, circa roughly 1985 to 1995. The lineup reads like a full page of show listings in the noise from that era, with a reunited dump truck topping the bill, along with Come, Scrawl, Barbara Manning, and Antietam. The only way this could be more Middle Easty would be if someone created a holographic Billy Ruane. Apologies to all of you non-Bostonians who don't understand any of what I just said, but what good is a music scene if you can't gatekeep with inside references? Every Thursday, we spend an inordinate amount of time scanning the listings, sifting for nuggets, and helplessly hoping that one day Claude will be able to do the heavy lifting for us. Yes, by brute force, we assemble and discuss the artists dominating their markets, a few artists who might be punching above their weight, and a few, you might be surprised, still have tickets available in the U.S. music capitals, New York, L.A., and Nashville. We call it the Who Sells Out, and it's powered by Seated, that platform that just filled up Madison Square Garden for Phoebe Bridgers with no scalping. Thousands of artists use Seated to gain fan insights and sell more tickets. In New York, Jake Minch and Joshua Sloan are a sellout tonight at Webster Hall. On Saturday, Underscores is a sellout at Terminal 5, and Ty Myers, also on Saturday night, is a seated sellout at Pier 17. On Saturday and Sunday, 5 Seconds of Summer still have some tickets available at Madison Square Garden. Hopefully we won't be seeing the Knicks back at the Garden, but if we do, the second biggest show next week will be Rosalia on Wednesday. Over at the Barclays Center, where no men's basketball will be played this week, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Martin Garrix is playing a 3-night stand. Still a lot of tickets. It's all GA by section. Over at Forest Hills Sports Stadium, the Black Crows open up the season on Saturday night. And tonight, if you're not too worn out by all of that Knicks drama, I'll see you at the Silver Lining Lounge for Ista at 8:30. In LA, it's all old guys, divas, and Canadians this week. The Rush 50-something tour is at the Kia Forum on Thursday and Friday. Ringo Starr and his all-star band are a sellout at the Greek on Sunday. Shakira has 2 nights at the Kia Forum. Neither of them are sold out. But the biggest show in town is Ariana Grande's Eternal Sunshine Tour with a multi-night stand at 2 venues. She's playing CryptoCon on Saturday and Sunday, and she'll be at the Kia Forum later this week. Those, needless to say, are all sold out. As for the Canadians' broken social scenes, All the Feeling Store, along with Metric and Stars, still have some tickets available at the Greek. And finally, Sylvan Esso is not a diva, not an old guy, and not Canadian, but they are a sellout at Sid the Cat Auditorium a whole bunch of nights next week, starting on Tuesday. In Nashville, where nothing sells out, well, we are true to form this week. Tonight, Kareem Leon brings his regional Mexican show to the Bridgestone. On Monday, Evanescence does as well. And then on Tuesday, Josh Groban will also be at Bridgestone. Needless to say, none of them are sold out. And then on Wednesday and next Thursday, the country Nate Smith plays 2 nights at the Ryman. Neither of those are sold out either. That's another Touring Thursday. Tomorrow we'll have an A2IM Indie Week recap, including all of our Who Are You and Why Are You Here's. Support for Unlimited Supply is provided by you, our listeners, and we have a couple of new rewards for your support. The Unlimited Supply trucker hat is the ultimate accessory for the music industry insider. It'll signal to other industry insiders that you know the real score, that you know who sells out, that no conflict means no interest, and that one rod equals $100 million. Most of all, it will signal that you know who you are and why you are here in every situation. We also have Unlimited Supply merit badges, or you could just buy me a cup of coffee. If you like what you hear, please hit that follow button wherever you get your pods. I live for your praise and encouragement in person, but it helps a lot more if you drop us a rating and or a review on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or Spotify, and tell a friend or 3. Links are in the show notes, but you can also visit unlimitedsupplypod.com to sign up for our newsletter, to tell us what you think about the show, to suggest feature ideas, to feed us info, to feed us lunch, to call us out on our dubious assertions, and to tell us what we're missing out on. I'm Lars Murray, and remember, in this business, no conflict means no interest.